Good afternoon. I hope you're all doing well, and thank you for joining me today for this session on how brands can use emerging messaging channels to gain a competitive edge in the marketplace. My name is Chris Michaud, and I'm responsible for product marketing at IMI Mobile North America. And for the last 12 years, I've been working with our product team to help our clients deploy messaging in ways that will measurably improve their customer experiences. So I'm very excited to share my thoughts on today's topics. I'll keep this brief, but I'd like to provide a little bit of background on who IMI Mobile is. You'll see four logos across the bottom of the screen, and these represent some of our flagship clients. At IMI, we provide cloud-based communication software for brands like these to engage with their customers on mobile devices. And that probably sounds very simple, but we firmly believe that every interaction between a brand and customer matters. And Nirvana for us is a very thoughtful, enjoyable customer experience that makes the most out of every single one of these interactions. So if you've ever made an online purchase with Best Buy and received a text notification about a curbside pickup or your order being ready, that's powered by our software. Or if you've received an alert for a prescription from either Walmart or Walgreens, that also runs through our platform. And if you belong to the mobile marketing or loyalty programs for Advance Auto Parts or Express, you may be receiving messages from us also. And so today I'd like to really talk about three topics here. And the first being the shift in customer expectations that we're seeing. And secondly, we will go through a deep dive through about three of the channels that I believe brands should be using in their customer experiences. And then lastly, we'll talk about finding your fit and understanding what channels might be right for your brand and what use cases might be best for each channel. So, and starting with the customer expectations that are shifting, we think they're shifting dramatically, and customers are starting to take the power back from brands and the communications that they have between the two. And starting with the millennial generation, telephone is no longer the preferred communication channel of your customers. They now expect to be able to message their favorite brands on the channels they prefer on their terms. Messaging is familiar, it's easy to use, and we're starting to see brands move to a more natural language chatbot whenever they're able to do so. And this kind of takes things away from the traditional point and click or website menus for frequently asked questions. And customers are able to use their natural language and type with a brand. Now, because these interactions are becoming more conversational, it's natural that customers are now expecting them to be two-way. And as you can see here, almost 90% of customers believe that brands should reach out to them proactively concerning customer service matters. And this is a big deal. But the good news is there's been plenty of advancements in artificial intelligence, natural language processing, sentiment analysis, and these advancements are allowing brands to automate many of their routine customer service requests. But it is crucial for brands to make these experiences a priority because now more than ever, it's extremely important factor in a customer's choice of being loyal to a brand. And I think this research from McKinsey helps underline the importance of these customer experiences. Early on in the pandemic, as you see here on this chart, 75% of customers had tried a new shopping behavior. And kind of how we define shopping behavior, think of things like curbside pickup or contactless payments. And market disruptors like Uber and Amazon and Netflix, they've almost trained us to expect instant gratification and a streamlined experience. And if our expectations aren't met, it becomes very easy for us to move on and try new brands. And you can see here that that's the second highest total here is trying a new brand. So on the right, you can see that while the pandemic may come to an end someday soon, hopefully, these changes in customer behavior aren't necessarily going anywhere. And exacerbating some of the challenges that brands are facing is this almost explosion of customer touch points and entry points that customers can come to and try engaging with your brand. And this list could probably be a lot longer, but the point is there's been an absolute explosion of these customer touch points. And with that comes the challenge of meeting your customers where they are on the channels that they use. You can see a number of the emerging messaging channels that I'd like to talk to you about today. And outside of the traditional text messaging inbox, there are 4 messaging applications with over 1 billion monthly active users. So these are no longer flavor of the month, fly-by-night applications. These are very important utilities that your customers are using every single day to communicate with friends and family, and they're now expecting your brand to be there as well. So we're going to talk about three of those channels. My kind of personal favorites for these messaging channels that I think you need to know, and we're going to start with Google's Business Messages. So Google's Business Messages is a new user-initiated channel, meaning the customer has to reach out proactively to the brand. And one of the great features about Business Messages is that it's embedded within the Google Search and Maps applications. So if you're using that for your search, or if you're looking for an address or location, you'll be able to message with the brand from there. And the best part is that it works with both Android and iOS devices. So even if you're on an iPhone and you're using Google Search or the Google Maps application, and a brand has this messaging chatbot stood up, you can actually engage with them through this application. And as you can see here on this bottom bullet, this messaging icon will now appear alongside the click to call, the directions, and website links that we're used to seeing in Google search results. So you'll see here on the right, we'll have an experience playing from Decathlon UK, the sports retailer. And I'll talk you through some of the features here. As you can see, the rich branding, Decathlon's able to add their logo. Information is organized into nice rich cards and carousels that customers can easily absorb and consume information, and can scroll horizontally through a list of items or options. There's also suggested replies. So you see these little text bubbles along the bottom of the screen that help guide the user through a conversation. So they don't have to know exactly how the bot works. They're almost being guided like a menu. And instead of typing out the question or their preferred use, they can actually tap on these buttons. Another great feature of Google's Business Messages is live agent integration. So in order for you to have this text chatbot, you actually need to have a fallback option that provides the customer the ability to speak with a live agent. And we think this provides a great customer experience, because while we saw earlier in the slides about 80% of routine customer service requests being able to be automated, there's always those customers that are not going to be able to have their question answered. And so it's important that we're able to seamlessly hand them off to a live agent to get their customer service matter resolved. And coming soon in their product roadmap are Google Pay transactions. So the ability to actually pay for items or pay for an order right here while never leaving the application. And we'll take a look here at some of the entry points. And so these are the three main ways that customers can actually engage with your chatbot on Business Messages. And the first is local search. So you think if I'm searching for a pizza shop near my house, I will get a result of all the pizza shops that are nearby. And those with a messaging chatbot will actually have the messaging icon, as you can see here on the screen, in the middle of the screen here. They can actually just tap on this button and begin the conversation. The same thing for organic search. So I'm searching specifically for Domino's Pizza. And if they have a Google's Business Messages chatbot, I'm able to chat with them right there from the contact information. And lastly, one of the more exciting ways that they can reach out to you is through a third-party button. So you're able to add these links and buttons to your other digital properties, such as your website, your app, social media, email, and these become a third-party button, which is a way for them to start an engagement with Business Messages. And so we think this is a great tool for things like call deflection or frequently asked questions, a lot of those kind of customer service interactions. Because every year, billions of phone calls are coming into businesses that originate from a Google search result. And so it's very important that we take whatever percentage of those customer service requests that we can and automate them where possible, but also providing them that fallback option of a live agent. So the next channel I want to talk about is Apple Business Chat. Similar in some ways to Google's Business Messages, and that it's a user initiated. So, I mean, the customer needs to start the conversation off with the brand, and this is baked directly into the Messages app that is the native messaging application on iOS devices. This works across all Apple devices, actually. So you can use your iPhone, you can use your iPad, your Mac, or your watch and these conversations will work seamlessly across all those devices. And Apple actually is a little bit ahead of the game in that they already have integrated payments fully with Apple Pay. You can see here this customer experience on the right-hand side with Storco. You can actually pay for that Apple MacBook Pro right there while never leaving the Messages application. And so again, we'll have the experience playing over here on the right with a carrier in the UK called O2. They're kicking off this engagement from a text message, but then converting that into Apple Business Chat, where you can see the rich branding and the verified check mark for O2. That just lets your customer know that who they're talking to is actually who they say they are, preventing a lot of fraud and kind of easing the customer's mind. You can see here the list picker option, so being able to select different options through a menu. They have a time picker feature, which would allow you to schedule appointments or picking dates. There's also the ability to send encrypted attachments. So if you need to send a picture to a customer service agent about a specific problem you're having with a product, let's say your cable or your TV, you're able to do that right through business chat, excuse me. And very similar to Google, there also is a requirement for a live agent integration. And so if the chatbot is not able to handle the customer request, this can seamlessly be transferred over to a live agent to help resolve that problem. Now, here are the four main ways that you can interact with a business through business chat. You might notice some similarities here to Google, but again, this is the Apple response to that. So if you've ever swiped over to the far left of your home screen on your iPhone, you may have noticed that you have the spotlight search there. So if I search for a brand, in this case, Storco, our fictitious retail brand, they have a chatbot set up. And so you see the messaging bubble that appears there in the business's results alongside the click to call button. If you have a business saved in your contacts, you can also message them from here, just like you would a family or a friend. And similar to Google Business Messages, a numbers link. So this is like a third-party link that can exist on other digital properties. And just like the click to call works on an iPhone, you can now begin the messaging engagement from here as well. And if you're on an iOS device and Google Maps isn't your thing and you're using the Apple Maps that comes native with the device, same thing here. If you're searching for a store and they have a chatbot available, that messaging icon will appear for you. So just like with Google, this is a great channel for call deflection and for offloading some of those requests from coming into a call center and overwhelming your resources. And we'll talk a little bit more in a few slides here about some of the other use cases that this channel would be beneficial for. And the third one that I wanted to talk about was RCS Business Messaging. So RCS Business Messaging is a little bit different than the other two channels that we've already talked about, in that this is a standards-based carrier messaging protocol. And so this actually works similar to SMS, and then it rides over the carrier networks. Now, this is available specifically on select Android devices as part of the Android Messages, the native application that comes installed on those devices. And it uses data connectivity to deliver some of those rich features that we've talked about with the other channels. And you can see here on the right, the screenshot, the look and feel, and the UI of this channel in RCS Business Messages is very similar to the previous two. And so here on the right, you can see an experience from our client at Retailer Express. They did a great job of including an embedded video within this rich card to show off one of their new products. They were launching a new line of jeans and the ability to find your fit campaign. And we think this is a great use of the interactive features and the capabilities of RCS Business Messages. And along the bottom of the screen, you'll see after the video ends that the suggested replies, the bubbles along the bottom, allow the user to get a lot more done with this engagement. And just like with business messages and Apple Business Chat, you can organize these rich cards that you see here with the video into a carousel so that we could swipe through, in this case, looking for new jeans that may fit you. And you can see here with those buy now buttons that are clickable links that will link you out to an app or a website. So you're really getting an app-like experience from these channels without ever having to download a separate app. And these are the three different ways you can engage with a brand, or a brand can engage with a customer via RCS. The first is an inbound message. So sending in a keyword to the brand will allow you to kick off an engagement like this. The second is if you have a customer who is on an RCS capable device, you can send an outbound message to them with this similar experience here. And lastly is what we call a chatbot directory. And so as you can see here on the phone screen on the right, there's a third tab called chatbots that actually gives them a list of all the available chatbots that are there for a customer to engage with. So alongside the conversations and the contacts, they can search through all the chatbots that are available to them and kick off one of these really cool experiences. So like I said, we're taking a look at some of the features and stack ranking them and putting them in a chart here. You'll notice we didn't talk about WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, but these are all important channels. I just think for the sake of time, we're not going to be able to get to all of them. But you can see that these all support very similar features. And it really comes down to customer journey mapping. And so for your brand, it becomes really important to think about with the experiences that you want your customers to have. And using a chart like this and understanding what the capabilities are will help you determine which of these emerging channels is best for your brand, because no one's going to know your customers as well as you do. So you can see here, if it's not mandatory, a lot of them have the option of having an agent support. And so it becomes really important to have a solid customer service platform that you like to be able to integrate with these experiences. And next is a very similar view, but this is for use case suitability. And so we typically would break down the customer engagements into these three categories. So notifications or transactional messaging, customer care use cases, and then marketing. And so you can see that how these work across the different channels may vary, and that may dictate which channel you decide to use for your customer experience. For example, when it comes to marketing, Apple allows marketing, but you have to get an explicit opt-in from your customer. And so once that engagement is open and the user has reached out to a brand, you're able to gain that opt-in to receive future messaging from that brand. So it's important to really take a look through these again, understanding what your objectives are for your customer experience, understanding what channels your customers may be using. For example, WhatsApp is not quite as popular in the US as it is in Europe and parts of Asia. However, a channel like Apple, Google, or RCS may be more beneficial for you. So three kind of main takeaways here that I hope you've taken away from this presentation is that customer expectations have shifted dramatically, and we don't really think they're going anywhere anytime soon. So it's really important for brands to meet customers where they are on the channels they prefer to use. And secondly, these emerging channels are crucial to winning with customer experience. And so being able to bring in things like artificial intelligence and NLP and integrating with a live agent in the background, this creates a superior customer experience that not only helps your customer get the information they need, but boy, hopefully helps them want to talk about the experience they're having through word of mouth marketing with their friends and family. And lastly, through customer journey mapping, you can make this your competitive advantage. I bet if you were to take your devices out right now and perform some of the application searches that I talked about with the different channels and look for your competitors, they may or may not be on there. So these channels are creating a great opportunity for you to jump out ahead of your competition and to start using these channels to create a really rich, interactive, and fun to use customer experience. So thank you so much for joining today. I get really excited about these channels, working with them all the time. It's stuff that I absolutely love. And so if you're interested in learning more and want to talk, I don't have a sales quota. I just really love messaging. So please reach out to me. My email address here on the screen. or visit our website to find out more information, I would love to have a conversation with you. And thank you to chiefmartech.com, Third Door Media, and Martech Today for having me. I hope you got something out of this presentation. I hope you enjoy the rest of the show.